Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Maritza Coscarelli joining us here today. Such an awesome name, by the way. Who came up with the name Maritza? And I'm using rolling an R. Is it Spanish?
I love it, Maritza. So it's very common in like Latinx community to use that name, and it's not a Spanish name at all.
Okay.
It's a derivative of Maria and Marissa and all those names, but it's actually Eastern European. I was named by my mother after one of her friends at the time that she was pregnant.
Oh,
Not
wow.
someone she's in touch with now, by the way, but yeah. And what I found out in a ballet class when I was like a tween, this teacher was visiting. He was a male, really strong-willed ballet teacher from Czechoslovakia. And he said, you have a European name and it means flowing river. You need to move like a flowing river. I was like, okay. There's an opera in Czechoslovakia called Countess Maritza.
Wow.
My mommy does say Maritza.
Oh,
with
beautiful.
a rolled R like you did. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Great to have you here. Beautiful soul, beautiful woman. She has her own coaching company based out of beautiful Florida, Palm Beach to be exact, but she's working with people as a transformational coach and also keynote speaker all over the world. Would you mind introducing yourself? A little more than I did. Thank you.
Jill Nicolini's a beautiful name too. We sound like we could be related with
I know, right?
Last name.
Like I'm so Italian, but I'm not. Everyone's like, you're Italian. I'm like, I'm half, like a quarter, but yeah.
I know, and I'm just married to one. Not just, because it's pretty cool to be married to one, but yeah. It was my dream in elementary school. I was in Newark, New Jersey. And I was like, wow, if I could nab one of these Italian-American boys. And I was like in the third grade, Jill.
Oh my gosh. It all meant to be. Yep.
Yeah. So introducing myself, I'd love to tell you all that I am a former ballerina and contemporary dancer turned lifestyle entrepreneur. What does that mean? It means I am free because I make my own schedule and I live to impact the lives of women, of heart-centered men, and of business leaders. My platform is about self-empowerment. It's providing you guidance and the keys to build the life and business you dream of, the life and business you desire. And I do that with one-to-one calls, group coaching, retreats, and VIP days here at the beach where I live in South Florida.
Oh, wonderful. And what did you have in mind for us today? I mean, you're helping and guiding people through a lot, including myself soon.
I know, I'm so excited, Jill. I feel our connection. And that's really what it's all about. I have a proprietary system in 12 steps that I developed in reverse. So because I lived through some very dark times as a young dancer, living independently in New York City for the first time. I came from a very strict Latino household. My father is a tiny man, a Napoleonic man, you know, little man, big attitude. And he raised 4 girls. And he's very controlling of my mom. So we didn't have a lot of freedom. So I was really trained well to land jobs as a dancer in New York City, which you know all out there, how tough that is, like playing for the Major League Baseball team. So I knew high performance behavior, but I was ill-equipped for life. I had very low self-esteem. I had no real life skills. Like the first time I had to do my taxes, I was freaked out. And so little by little, I became my worst critic and got very anxious and very depressed. Right. And as I healed and came out of that and began to find what I help you all do is master authentic confidence and the communication skills that connect and convert others to your way of thinking. So you're never selling yourself or your product or your services, but you're creating relationships that you care about deeply. Authentic confidence is about empathy. It's about honesty. It's about not what you know, but actually it's about being curious and open, creative and innovative. And it's not always the most extroverted or loudest person in the room. So when you are around someone who's truly confident, they might actually be the best listener in the room. If you lead, you listen, and you're responsive. You know what I was wondering, Jill? I was wondering
What?
how many times do you book shows and whatever, and what is the rate of people following through, doing what they say they're going to do, and being on time, all of which I call living and working in
Accountability.
integrity.
Well, it's funny. I don't handle any of the booking or any of that.
Right.
I get the names and I call, but on a consistent basis, most people come back every week. I don't know how many shows they sign up for and all, but there's
Uh-huh.
some that don't, some that back out. They lack the commitment or they change their mind or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I think when you're paying for a service and it's promoting your business and it's accountability. But so if you're, for example, getting something for free, I don't think that many people are going to show up. So I know there's a price to everything in a sense. And I know people have to pay to be on a podcast in a sense, right? But so it's accountability, but it's also you're putting your effort into it. And when you put money and effort into it, you're really committed. Because somebody, if this was a free podcast, would anyone show up? Probably not.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Right.
it's a commitment factor, part of it.
I'm so glad I asked you that question, and that is the best answer I've ever received. It is a commitment factor. You commit to what you're invested in. The reason that coaching is a high ticket item is because you're going to get back 10 times what you invest in it. If
Exactly.
you invest $15,000 like I did years ago in my first business and mindset coach, I made $150,000. Was she
Wow.
worth my time and energy and commitment? Absolutely. Did I have 15K just to like throw up in the air, or would I flush it down the toilet? No. But I believed, ooh, it gives me chill bumps.
Goosebumps. Oh,
I believed in the fact that I could have a life-changing experience and that she had accomplished something already that I desired. Right? So we're all living in this life in a sequential way. Even though time is really an illusion, we're living in a linear
yeah.
way, but things don't happen linearly.
Mhm.
So what if you can have a goal, a 5-year goal, and you can cut it down to 2.5 years? Isn't that worth the investment? Think about it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. Even in the last 2 years, I think I said on last week's episode, I pinch myself. Because if you all don't need a lot to think about 2020 through 2022, we all know the pandemic. We all know loss. We all know loss of jobs and income and what it is to be locked in your house and be like, oh my gosh, is the sky falling? Is the world ending, right? So I didn't feel that way. Why? Because I was used to having big issues where things were very uncertain and having them work out for me. One of the things I say to my clients, and even to my own husband some mornings, is everything is working out for us. Everything is working out for us. Think about how that feels in your body right now, people listening. Think about that, Jill. Everything is working out for me. Wow, what a relief. We carry around a lot of heavy baggage that we could just let go of. So today I made some notes, as I always do, because I want to bring you so much value. Like, it is my mission. I had the pleasure of being on Gary Vee's podcast.
Awesome.
And I love Gary Vaynerchuk. Those of you who don't know Gary, look him up, because to know him is to love him. And he is super successful at what he does, but he's also super passionate and purposeful. And I learned so much in a short time. And he said, Maritza, keep being radically happy and radically generous. You don't have to change a thing to have the impact, the influence, and income that you desire. And I say that to all of you. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to give you skills, tools, resources that if you action them, that's the step that's usually missing. If you implement what I'm teaching, if you partner with me and we say, let's roll up our sleeves, I roll up to my puffy sleeves today, and let's do this. It's so much fun. And then the wins just happen. And you're like, wow, did I just like pull that? People say to me, you pull your businesses out of the air. Like one day you're a dancer, the next you're acting, the next you're coaching. It's like, no, I just take the steps.
Yeah.
So today, what I thought we would talk about two things. One is you already own your golden ticket. Jill owns
Willy
it.
Wonka.
I
love
own it. Every single one of you listening has a golden ticket that I'm really, really good at. I'm probably one of the best coaches at it. And that is discovering and telling your story. You're the next top celebrity, not in terms of just fame, but in terms of limitless possibilities in your life and business, and you don't even know it because you're not using your narrative as told by you. Discovering and telling your story costs you nothing but a little guidance from somebody who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Writing it, learning it, telling it truthfully, passionately, and from your heart. It is not as scary and hard as you think it is. And once you discover and tell your true story, why do we love reality TV? Why do we love biographies? Why do we watch documentaries about Lady Gaga and Beyonce and everyone you can think of, right? You are that. They put their clothes on in the morning and they brush their teeth and they're doing exactly what you're doing. And the only thing that they are doing that you aren't is creating their own narrative and getting it out in the world. And that, think about that. Like you already own that. That is your ticket. So how do you discover the truth? Where do you feel out of integrity with yourself? Where are you believing one thing and doing another? Or worse yet, we all do this. No shame. We all procrastinate. We have an idea. We say, that is the thing I need to get done. That will change a lot of things for me. And then we go, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. I don't have money for that. Listen to that energy. That's all scarcity. That's all lack mentality. Think about it. You don't really lack time. You don't really lack energy, and you don't really lack money. You just think you do. And the minute you stop thinking you do, you have more of it than you can imagine. I raised 2 kids in a big house with a husband who worked 7 days a week. And I was still a dancer and a fitness instructor during that time. I'm just not buying excuses. We can let every reason in our life become an excuse, but if it's something that really matters to you and you really want it, you are going to do the thing. In fact, you're going to listen to this, and today you're going to take one step in your truth. You're going to say, you know, I've been thinking this, I've been talking lip service this, and I haven't done one single thing about it. Today is your day. So where do I feel out of integrity with myself? What is keeping me from feeling complete, whole, and fulfilled? What is keeping me from feeling whole, happy, healthy, sane? You are already, if you have the ability to listen to this, you may have, you know, I had a terrible disc in my back last year that they operated on. You may have a physical pain. You may have some bills lingering. You may have a messy office like I do today. Like, things don't need to be perfect, but you are already okay. Everything is okay. Everything is working out for me, for you, okay? So what is keeping you from feeling complete? Is it your physical? Is it your emotional? Is it your relationships? Is it your finances? Is it your career? Your knowing that there's some other resource you could tap into and you're not doing it. So that's question number 2. And I'm only going to give you one more. What important feelings am I not letting into my awareness? Am I feeling fatigue? Am I feeling less than? Am I feeling I'm not enough? Am I feeling afraid or anxious? What is it? Because when you know and you tell yourself the full truth, you really do set yourself free. So this is where we begin to uncover your story, because guess what shows up? Where did some of these faults and limiting beliefs come from? There's a story there. I told you guys last week, I think, right, that I was always dancing, even if there wasn't music playing. And it was hard for me to keep still as a child. Luckily, it wasn't at a time where they diagnose you ADHD and put you on medication, because I probably would have been, right? But instead, my dad swept me up and locked me in my room. Tranquilízate, tranquil, be still, be quiet. What did I learn? I learned to dim my light and to beg to be loved, like it was something I had to ask for. You're worth it, and your value is high because you were born, not because somebody tells you, not because of how you perform. Performing is great. I love performing, but it doesn't determine your worth and value. If you're looking to get your validity strictly from the persona that you are, you will always feel less than. Your value comes from within. You are beautiful, perfect, and valuable just the way you are. If you didn't change a thing, I tell Alyssa, my daughter, who's a huge influencer, style curator, we're heading to Fashion Week, September 7th. She has a pop-up store in Soho coming up, 29 years old. But you know what I tell her? Instead of always telling her how proud we are, what I tell her is, do you know Daddy and I would still adore you if you didn't do a thing?
Yeah.
If my daughter was couch surfing in our house and really down and out, would I love her any less? Why do you people love yourself less? You got to love yourself for real and hard, unconditionally. And you will find others that do that when you figure out how to do that for yourself. So what are we going to do? We're going to answer, where am I out of truth with myself? Where don't I feel complete, fulfilled, and whole? Because you can tell yourself every day, I am happy, I am healthy, I am sane, and I am whole. And even if you're not, you will become that, I promise.
Yep. Yep.
And finally, what feelings am I not letting into my awareness? Because I'm going to give you today the 6 positive psychology basics. I wrote them down here for you. Positive psychology didn't even come into being until I think the 80s, which is crazy, right? So we didn't even know this stuff. But this is all stuff that's a very technical coaching word.
And we all
all this crap is stuff you can do today. That's when my New Yorker comes out.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
So questions about that, discovering your real story and being honest about it. Any questions that you think might dawn on your audience or you, Jill, about discovering and telling your true story?
Well, I mean, we all have our own story, right, to tell, and but it always could be better. We can make it greater, right? I relate to myself, where I am at life, and when you just talked about the whole career thing, because so many of us identify ourselves with what they do for a living, and it's like, I'm an attorney, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I always looked at people like, no, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jill. I'm from Long Island. I have 2 kids. And the people that I meet that are all about, well, I'm an attorney and I have this and I'm an engineer and it's something that I see it, they don't see it, but they're using their own career as themselves. And it's not, and that bothers me a lot because it says a lot about that person, that they're not confident in who they are. They're using that job, that title, that status as if that's going to impress someone. So I'm sorry, I'm backtracking you that because that's what.
No,
really,
I love that you went back to that.
But think about it. Think about it. How many times you're out and you're meeting someone and it's like, hi, nice to meet you. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm a judge. I'm like, people drop their profession. I don't think you go, hi, I'm Maritza and I am a life coach. And my husband's an giant,
whatever he is.
Right. Yeah. But it just put it, and I wish people can hear this and listen, because it really, if that's what you think you are, you're so much more than that. And maybe you don't know it, or maybe you're lacking something, so you're hiding behind it, and there's something you need to fix.
And that is what those 3 questions are about, uncovering. Yes. Like we said, go back and listen to our series so far, Jill with me, Maritza, right? What we're doing is uncovering your unique brilliance. You are a diamond in the rough, or you are a shining diamond and you've covered it with a bunch of, if you don't take your diamond to be cleaned, it doesn't look very sparkly anymore. At the very least, you get some soap and warm water on there, right?
Yes.
So you got to polish yourself up and let yourself shine. And if anybody's requiring you to dim, they're not for you.
Yeah,
they're not for you. And it's very Western culture. I love the USA. Are you kidding? My parents, God bless America, right? They came from the Dominican Republic with suitcases and they lived the American dream and allowed so much more for us to attend private Catholic schools, to go to universities. My God, when they were little children in the DR, especially my mom, my dad's dad was successful there because he was importing American goods, but my mom was from a single mom, alcoholic, poverty, living in a 1-room shack, she said, to becoming Joan Collins. That's what she tells me. She's not quite that wealthy, but she thinks she just lived the dream, right? And she did. For her, she did. So the reason I say that, Jill, is because what you said is so important. What if I ask the questions I ask when I meet people? Hey, what's new and good? Hey, what do you enjoy in your life? What do you do in your free time? These are conversation starters that we could just retrain ourselves to use. Our
Yeah.
language is so powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who still don't know what I do, and that's not great for business, but I'm not trying to do business with everyone. You know, at my food grocery store, Jill and I talk grocery store trips because we
Yay!
enjoy them.
I love
Yay!
it. I
We
love
love
my
our
Costco
carts.
list.
And I
Yes.
go to my local store on foot or in my car, and I'm friendly with everybody in there, and they know me. They have no idea what I do. And sometimes they'll ask me, like, you know, you're such a light in here. Like, it's so unique. And you stay calm no matter what's going on, right? So they're observing, people are observing your energy before you even open your mouth. But let's go back real quick to what you can do today. You
Okay.
can refocus yourself. Everyone, I'm doing it. When I teach it, I learn it twice, which is
Okay.
so fun.
Go for it.
Positive psychology basics, how you switch your psychology
Okay.
thinking. Number one, you're going to be like, we know that one, but are you doing it?
Mhm.
Gratitude. Take 5 minutes in the morning and write down without a lot of thinking, even without coffee, you could do this. 5 to 10 things, even 3 things you're grateful for that day. I love and appreciate my
Okay.
black coffee. I love and appreciate the comfy bed I slept in. I love and appreciate that the sun is shining every day here in South Florida, right? That's all. Just write it down. Test yourself or challenge yourself to come up with new ones every day. I love and appreciate that my children are healthy, happy. I love that I'm going to New York with my
Yeah.
daughter next week. So on and on and on. Gratitude is super important, and then take it a further step. What do I say to Jill when we come on? Oh, thank you so much for having me, right? Express your appreciation to
Gratitude.
someone.
Yep.
Make a phone call, leave a text. Guess what? You can still write a card and mail it and say, thank you so much, right? For blah, blah, blah. Imagine receiving a thank you in the mail. Those hardly come anymore. You would
That
stand
means
out.
so much. It does.
Gratitude is the first positive psychology basic, getting
Okay.
your brain positive. Second, mindfulness. It creates less heart disease, less multitasking. What is mindfulness? Paying attention to the task at hand.
Okay.
I can't be on my phone answering an email, looking out the window, and speaking to Jill. All I have to do right now is be with you.
Yeah.
People treasure that. So whatever you do it with your full attention just for that moment. If you're washing out your coffee cup, try to just wash out your coffee cup.
Yeah.
Feel the water on your hands, feel the glass in your fingers. Take pleasure in drying it off and getting it without stains for tomorrow. And I know it sounds silly, but it's not. It really does cut down on heart disease, stress, and anxiety. Do things mindfully with your full attention, and you will reap the benefits. You will have better attention when you do bigger things. When you need to write that email, make that phone call, give that speech, you will have better focus and attention. If you do everything, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Have you ever heard that?
No, no. Say it
The
again.
way you do anything is the way you do everything. I will observe you, and the way that you go through the grocery store, the way that you straighten up your office, the way that you communicate with your children, everything is showing me who you are. You don't have to tell me who you are showing the world who you are every moment. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Take
I
that
like
away for
that.
today.
I like that.
So, mindfulness, paying full focus on one thing. Distraction, we're going to talk about next time. Don't
Okay.
miss it. We are all procrastinating and being distracted. So, we're going to talk about that next time. So, come back for that. Second was mindfulness, gratitude, mindfulness. Number 3, nutrition.
Ah,
Nourish your body, your mind, and your soul like your heart and life depend on it, because it does.
I like that.
Whatever you put in is what
Yeah.
you're able to put out. You wouldn't take a Bentley, high luxury cars that my husband messes with. I don't mess with them. No. I like my little Mini Cooper S with my top down.
You're so cute.
Cute side story. Tony Robbins has a house up the street from here on Ocean Boulevard.
Oh, wow.
He drives a convertible Rolls Royce, and you may know that he's a huge man. I'm a tiny woman in a Mini Cooper S, and we are often stopped at the same red light, and we just kind of greet each other. He's in his giant car with this giant head, and I'm in this tiny car with this tiny head, and we've never spoken. I did meet one of his business partners at a hotel lobby and introduced myself, Dean Graziosi.
Wow.
But I've never met Tony yet, but we do say hi to each other. We just give each other the neighbor nod.
I bet you will. Mm-hmm.
That is so funny. So nutrition. Super important. Not a diet, people. Don't diet. If you diet, you're going to seesaw and yo-yo and be up and down and all around in your body shape and your mood and everything. Ask yourself, is this nourishing my body? This choice, does it feel good? Is it worth it? I do my YOLO. You only live once. Yeah. Is the ricotta cheesecake worth the whole slice, or am I just going to have a bite of Joe's? Mm-hmm. That bite is so satisfying. I don't need the whole slice. I couldn't finish it if I tried at this point, right? Movies, news, whatever you let into your heart, soul, body, mind is the fuel. And in that Bentley, you are putting high octane fuel. You're not putting regular, right? So Joe always says, you're my sports model, right? So I got to treat myself like the sports model car, right? Like that Nissan Z or whatever. I can't treat myself, you know, like a Hyundai. No offense. I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to mention brands? But, you know, like a lower line, right?
I have a little Ford Focus 2012.
I love Ford Focus. That was my daughter's first car, and I used to love driving that thing.
Still my car, yeah.
All cars are terrific because they get us from point A to point B.
But I want a Range Rover. That's
you
my
still,
goal.
Well, there you go. That's the goal. But the Ford Focus is getting you where you need to go right now, and you are changing the oil.
Thank you. Yep, exactly.
You are rotating those tires. You are putting on your snow tires.
Yeah.
So same thing with your body. Nutrition is important. And the next one that costs you zero and is essential. It will keep you from aging. It will keep you from cognitive issues like dementia and Alzheimer's. And that is sleep.
Sleep. I knew it. I knew it.
You guessed it.
Yes, I did. Because
people are not sleeping enough, and then they're drinking a bunch of alcohol, taking stuff, sleep supplement, and then when you don't have that, you don't sleep at all, and it's all a hot mess. Prioritize sleep hygiene. Figure out what you need to do to wind down. Guess what? Maybe you don't need 8 hours. Maybe you can function on 4. I have a friend who functions on 4 hours sleep. I tell him he's a vampire, but whatever. Michael is a 4-hour sleeper, and he's in the gym at 4:30 a.m. Michael, shout out if you hear this.
Hi, Michael.
I love him. Oh my God, he's amazing. So sleep is essential. It's a non-negotiable. We don't all need 8 hours, but we all need comfortable length of clean sleep. Clean up your act. Buy yourself something special to sleep in, whether you go to Target or you go to Saks Fifth Avenue, doesn't matter. Buy yourself a nice set of sheets, a nice something to put on if you like that kind of thing. I'm all about skin on skin. If you are going to spend some time with yourself, do it naked.
Yes, I'm with you. I love you.
Very important.
We'll end it on that note. That's a good note. Do it naked. So I apologize, but we're out of time.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's
giving us how we can reach out to you again?
Absolutely. Maritza, Maritza, Coscarelli, Coscarelli.com. Please reach out and book a complimentary breakthrough call. Your life is about to change for the better.
And speaking of nude, I have to mention, so I love, my backyard, I can't now, but I used to have a backyard where I could lay out nude. And my father now does it after, it was hysterical, but like in my privacy note, like something feels so good about it. But we'll talk about that more when I see you.
Talk about it next time. Make sure to tune in, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.